Hello course participants. Today our course name is Fundamentals of Environmental Regulation and Expertise, and the first lecture about the basic concepts and the definition, goals, objectives, content of this discipline. And the plan of our discipline consists of the first basic concepts and definitions, objects and the subjects of our discipline, objects requiring mandatory examination, and objects and subjects of environmental expertise. And what is the environmental expertise? At first, is a scientific application, complex navigation, and sustainable management. And these topics consist of at first, the systematical application of scientific knowledge to assess environmental impacts and inform capital policy decisions. Next, complex navigation involves navigating intricate interaction between science, society, policy, and conditions on antichrinity. And most of them, sustainable management consists of essential for sustainable management of human environment, relationships, and long-term ecological health. And scientific application, complex navigation, and the sustainable management are the most important topics in the environmental expertise. Key definition in this lecture is environment and environment management. Environmental is the comprehensive surroundings including at first air, water, land, flora, fauna, humans and their intricate interrelation and interdependencies. And next, environmental management includes the systematical process of managing human impacts on natural surroundings, shaping policies and practices to preserve and protect natural resources for future generations. And on the environmental expertise, there are next objects, physical entities and phenomena that become the focus of detailed environmental examination and assessment. Ecosystems, there are complex networks of living organisms in flora and their physical environment, including forests, wetlands, grasslands, and marine systems. And next is the water bodies. Water bodies include rivers, lakes, groundwater system, coastal areas, and their associated hydrological processes and the water quality parameters. Next of them is air quality. Air quality consists atmospheric conditions, pollutant concentration, and meteorological factors. Meteorological factors affected human health and environmental quality. And next, soil and land. Soil composition, fertility, communications levels, and land use patterns affecting agricultural and ecological productivity. These ecosystems, water bodies, air quality, soil, and land includes both abiotical resources. Abiotical resources are minerals, water, and air. And next, biotical resources. Biotical resources are forests, wildlife, and biodiversity. And next, in this picture, you can see about the subjects of environmental expertise. Environmental expertise consists scientific experts, policy makers, regulatory agencies, and affected communities. First of them, scientific experts include ecologists, chemists, geologists, and environmental scientists who conduct rigorous assessment and research studies. Policy makers, government officials, and legislators who translate scientific findings into environmental policies and regulation. Next of them, regulatory agencies include environmental protection agencies and oversight bodies responsible for enforcement and complete monitoring. And next of them, affected communities. Affected communities, local population, indigenous groups, and stakeholders whose lives and livelihoods are directly impacted by environmental decisions. These experts must carefully balance scientific objectivity with the societal values and involving policy needs. And the next question in our lecture about the subject requirement mandatory of environmental examination. Projects and activities of mandatory environmental examination with potential of significant environmental impact, legally required to undergo comprehensive assessment. Next, industrial facilities, manufacturing plants, chemical processing facilities, and waste disposal sites with potential for pollution and environmental contamination. Next of them, infrastructure projects. Infrastructure projects include large-scale developments including dams, highways, airports, and power plants what significantly after landscapes and ecosystems. Next of them, resource extraction, mining operation, logging activities, and fossil fuel extraction that directly impact natural habitats and resource availability. Next, urban development. Urban development, large residential and commercial developments that change land use patterns and affect local environmental conditions. And all of them legal frameworks specifically with requirements to ensure environmental compliance and the protection standards are met. And the next question, what mandatory examination matters? Mandatory examination matters include 4 free steps. First of them, early risk identification, legal compliance, and informed decision making. Early risk intermediation include prevents environmental degradation by identifying potential risk and impacts before project commence, along for preventive and legal compliance, ensure strict adherence to environmental law, standards, and regulation, protecting both environment and public health. And most of them, it's informed decision making. Facilities balanced, evidence-based decision that carefully weigh development benefits against conservation needs and environmental costs. And in our course, environmental experts rules. The rules of environmental experts include 4 free steps. First of them, rigorous assessment, transparent communication, and stakeholder engagement. And rigorous assessment conduct comprehensive evaluation using interdisciplinary knowledge spanning ecology, chemistry, geoscience, and social science. Next, transparent communication, clearly communicate scientific increations, limitation, and confidence levels to ensure informed decision making by all stakeholders. And next, stakeholder engagement. Actively engage with diverse stakeholders, communities, the interest groups to build trust, legitimacy, and the collaborative solution. Challenges of environmental expertise include 4 free steps: conflicting interests, scientific increasingly maintain objectivity, and navigating complex protection between economic development, environmental protection, and device stakeholder values and expectations. And about scientific incredulity, I want to say about managing interest complexity and exchangeably in environmental system. For example, for water, land, and air system, we providing reliable guidelines for critical policy decision, and of maintained objectively, preserving scientific objectives and credibility, while is actively influencing policy frameworks and shaping public environmental discourse. The importance of environmental expertise is foundation for sustainability. A clear understanding required mandatory safeguards, blending science and society, and a clear understanding requirement demands for compensation for both objects and examination and the subjects conducting for assessments. And blending science or society calls for skilled experts capable of effectively binding science, policy, and the society of environmental stewardship. And in conclusion, I want to say about the environmental expertise and assessments is most of the important parts in environmental regulation. Thank you for your attention.